Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. I'm so sorry. I've been so sick the past couple of days. Sinus. There's something going on in Florida with the ragweed, and I am severely allergic to ragweed. So doing a reading yesterday on my couch in the morning, and like an hour later, my head gets really heavy. I'm inside my house. I'm not even outside. So I'm like, ugh. So, everything that happens in the physical realm has happened in the spiritual realm first. We know this because we're spiritual beings having human experiences. So every physical issue is a manifestation of a psychological and emotional imbalance. So you can have wounds in the physical body forever because you have to realize that in order to create a wound, it took time. It's a habit, which becomes a neurological pathway, which becomes a behaviorism. And so to recondition, you have to, like, every single day be on certain supplements, then certain foods you have to eat. You have to be, because the immune system gets compromised, right? So you have to continually feed it. So that means never drinking a soda, never having a piece of candy, never having a piece of cake, never having ice cream, never having, which meanwhile, a lot of times with the root chakra, which by the way is connected to the sinuses, the way that you learned how to survive was to eat junk because it gave you a little kick. Because a lot of times when you have sinus issues, you also have adrenal fatigue. It's a sign. So these things are not going to kill you, but over time, they really do wear away at your immune system. And I only say that because, hey, again, we're in physical form to learn and to manifest. So one way that we always talk about, obviously, on this channel is in our relationships. When we see our relationships are imbalanced, right? Just the same way when you get sick and you can see that you're out of balance then. Well, you're going to experience it straight across the realms, meaning physically, psychologically, emotionally, mentally. So what winds up happening is you wind up attracting those type of imbalances. So for those of you, by the way, that don't know who I am, my name is Laura, and I am a master healer, a prophetic master healer. I learned the art of healing through healing myself. And then I got certified in a lot of different holistic and spiritual modalities, but my specialty is healing trauma through prophetic healing. So does that mean you're fully healed? No. If you had severe trauma, well, you might actually have to go to like a brain-based therapist. You might have to go to like additional therapies. However, the awareness lets people realize that they're being seen. When a person comes to get prophetic healing, so like when you resonate with a reading, you're like, oh, I get it. There's relief there. And there's relief because a lot of times when you don't know what the problem is, there's never going to be a solution. And we all know that healing shadows requires integration, meaning doing something different, and then the transmutation process, right? That's what we see on the channel all the time. So I've been starting with just looking at your energy. What do you need? What's going on? What are the spiritual blockages that we need to look at right now? Now, it could be, normally readings, I have to say, it's different for everyone. Some people, you'll notice that you'll sit in this energy for a few days. Some people will sit in this energy for a few weeks, and then other energies on top of it. So when we're looking at the spiritual issues, all right, let's see what spirit wants you to look at. This is just your energy that we're looking at, nobody else's. I had a coffee with my allergy medicine, and I'm like, ugh, like you become even more sensitive. I do anyway. And what do we need to just look at? One more. Well, I'll pick two more. And we'll read them all together. Okay. See, it says exercise here. You're being called to get more in your physical body, more grounded right now. And because it's going to help you organize, maybe organize that you have a lot of things to do in a day. It's like you have to make your life look like a pizza pie. I always say there's 8 slices in a pie. That means that you need to like get up in the morning, maybe work out, do some meditation, then, work on some projects, check your email, it's then network. It's like you're being called to do a lot of things. So if you're not grounded and you're not organized, which understand right out of the gate, you're gonna mess up. So you have to set yourself up for success. And you would only be being asked to do this if, hey, you're working on a mission. You're working on a mission. You want to create something, and there's a little bit of, I don't know whether it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. But, there's that half a chance out of a million that it might not work because, again, that was the experience. And Spirit says, so the issue is getting more grounded in that, because this has to do with your identity. Understand the water element is not just about your emotions, though it is. It's also, balance. It's right. The second chakra is balance. What do we get balance through? Our unique individuality, our passion for life. Hey, that's also the passion center. It's the birthing center. So again, Spirit's saying you're going to birth something, but in order to really achieve it, you need to set yourself up for success right now. Meditation, again, goes with the daily practice. And there's only so many cards like that in the deck. So Spirit's saying your lifestyle habits, we need to look at them. How late are you staying up? How much water are you drinking during the day? How well are you taking care of yourself? Because if a person comes into your life at this time, or there's important challenges and you're not balanced, second chakra, well, you're going to have a problem. So again, that requires grounding, better lifestyle habits. Be willing to stand alone. And those who are meant to stand with you will remain. Understand as you come up, because you're going on to come up, there's going to be a lot of people that fall out of your life. You're going to meet people that don't really understand you. They might think that you're so cold and so detached because you changed. No, you didn't change. What it is that you're balanced. And when you're balanced, you become emotionally balanced, second chakra, right? So emotionally balanced, which is, I'm doing what's best for me right now. So people knew you as one way, and that was giving, loving, kind of a little bit like a doormat. So Spirit's saying this is no more energy like that. So you're kind of mind blowing, not going to mind friggin' a lot of people right now, big time. Anything forced will not have a good, happy consequence. So Spirit's also saying, hey, there's also another challenge. If you've been in separation from somebody and they're going to come back into your life, there's family that, again, you already cut off. They're going to come back into your life. Everyone, hey, whenever you have a come up or you come into like good energy, all these friends come out of the woodwork, all these people, and not all of them are meant to come with you. Remember, when you stood alone during this time, because again, you're being called to get, prepared, for that. And that's balanced, organized. It's a lot of alone time. So you're alone. So only the people that are here which they're not going to be here until the come up happens. Then all of a sudden, all these people are going to come back into your life and they're going to emotionally try to manipulate you because that's who they remember you to be. And Spirit says, you better get grounded. You better get grounded. You better get organized, because organization, when it comes to life, it's I'd really love to, Mary, but I can't. I'm busy. I have other things to do. Cut the energy off. Boundary. I don't need to be rude to you. I don't need to be mean to you, but I will start that way, meaning I have a life and you're not going to come in and be intrusive to that life because, again, Spirit's saying you're setting a good foundation for yourself. And when you pour into yourself, that kind of pisses people off. And especially if you're working silently, because I don't know what you're doing. You know, people like to tend other people's gardens because there's an emptiness inside of them. Again, nothing personal. Hypervigilance wound, of course, of fucking course. Why? Because when these people come back, there's that overstimulation. What is hypervigilance? It's hyper awareness of not trusting, triggering the adrenal glands, pushing you right back into a place of fear. So Spirit's like, you don't need to have these people in your life, and understand this energy is still there. So most likely we're going to see patterns within your relationship. Spirit's just saying, just to let you know, root chakra imbalance, hypervigilance triggers the adrenal glands. What did I say in the beginning of the video? Rewind it. Not now. Spirit says, because what'll happen is, like, again, when you hold on to that anger, it's like, again, it's resentment, because over time it's like, hey, someone's coming, they're bombarding into your energy to be hypersensitive of other people because they at one time betrayed you, didn't love you, didn't treat you right. It's like, and then they're going to come back, and of course they're going to show you different energy. They're not going to be stupid and come back with the same energy. And the Spirit's saying, so again, a lot of people don't care whether you take them back or not. It's, again, they want you to get angry or resentful, which shows that you don't have control over your life. Get grounded, get organized. Spirit's saying you have to get a better connection to the body. You have to take this time that you need to feel the situation out and prepare to get the best response, is what Spirit's saying. Yeah, because you have foresight, so you already know. You don't need me to tell you, but Spirit's saying you need to be told what to do. So you might have known that you need to do that and you're not doing it, but Spirit's saying you need to. Now let's see why we're feeling that way. Like, we know, okay, so you have a wound of hypervigilance. You didn't look into other, and also Spirit says emotional repression, meaning you're not allowed to speak your emotions. So you always wind up with people that emotionally don't give to you, and they actually, if anything, are mean to you. So that's what that says, because hypervigilance and emotional suppression tells us that second chakra imbalance all the way, no boundaries, your emotional center, that is going to throw you right for a loop if you are not grounded. Spirit's saying, it's, again, we know that it's probably redundant that I'm saying it, but it's that some of you really have a bad grounding problem where you're like, it was a survival mechanism at one point. Well, look later at the inner child wounds where they came from, but that's, people don't just get hypervigilant and they just don't attract people that like give the karmic theme of betrayal. I mean, that doesn't just happen. Happens if we have a wound. Again, yeah, I'll come back for you. I'm done playing games. Yeah, I'm telling you, this person's coming back, and that's what they're thinking, because, I like what's going on in your world. You inspire me in so many ways. This person thought that they were going to take you down at one point, and you show them that, again, you're not affected. You're inspiring a lot of people in spite that you're pissing a lot of people off. Like, you're triggering a lot of people's second chakra, right? Again, because, hey, when you inspire someone, they want to emulate you. They want a little bit of what you have. You make them want to do. That's what inspire means. And so, you just not putting up with their shit. You working on yourself, pouring into you. I feel like this person's used to needy people, that, beg for them, kind of. So to meet someone that's different is refreshing. to meet someone that actually shows you something different. But understand it's what you're doing again that's inspiring this person. Because they gave you the silent treatment. Well, that's what they would do. You know, it's a way of punishment, emotional suppression. If I'm not interacting with you and I give you the silent treatment, well, you're going to feel stupid telling me that you have problems, right? It's a one-sided conversation after a while. I'm afraid of losing you. Yeah, because you got this person's attention now. That's what it is. It's like, wow, you're going to have a glow up, or your life is good. You inspire me. I like what you're doing. Like, you showed me something else, and you're not putting up with any shit. I feel like this person has abandonment issues. Well, what they do have is unhealthy habits and behaviorisms. And that we know already. We didn't need that. I wish I could give you more. So here it is. They want to come back into your life. And I feel like they didn't give anything. And they want to come back now and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. You inspire me in so many ways. I want a second chance. I've changed. I'm done playing games. And really, again, triggered that emotion. And that's why Spirit's saying, don't force that. Don't confuse hypervigilance for love or guilt for love. Because this person's going to pull on those heartstrings. It's survival, root chakra imbalance. Because of the unhealthy habits. I didn't mean what I said. You were the first thing on my mind in the morning. Okay, whatever. It's like, that's this person. This is where they are right now. Let's look at the spiritual energies. You know, I only say that because it's like you trash the relationship. You're in different energy on a come up. Like, this is due to you because you worked for it. And this motherfucker thinks that they're going to come back and be like, hi, I don't really have that much to offer you. Excuse me? Are you putting me down to a lower level already? I have to settle for less because you don't have? Because you were giving wherever at one point? Because you weren't giving it to me. Root chakra imbalance. Do you love yourself? Spirit says that's the foundation. Do you love yourself? Love like ours can change the world. This person remembers you when you really had a strong connection to them. And you really did. And now they're seeing everything that you're doing. And they're like, I see how I could fit in here. Like hell you can. Like, that's what I feel like you should say. And if you consider it, you should make them work. I know I need to release attachments with karmic people. I'm creating a plan to leave her or him. So I kind of feel like this person either was in a relationship when they met you. Again, it was dead because it's like a karmic connection is more like a contract. Or they had the opportunity to choose between two people and they chose wrong. It's a collective reading. So again, I feel like two different things going on. And now this person is looking at you and you inspire them and they're not happy with their choice because, hey, that person probably did exactly what they wanted them to do. And if it's a karmic, this person didn't put any time, energy, focus, money into that person. Really, again, to nurture the connection, right? I feel like this person chose a supply, like to try to get you to be jealous. And what happened is, it's like you didn't get jealous. You put the time and energy into yourself. Now they're stuck with the supply. They weren't supposed to be stuck with that person, is what they're looking at. So there's a sense of, oh my God, you know, because they thought that they were going to have you. I long to sweep you off your feet. Even with the new deck, I'm getting it. It's like, I don't care. It's like, I'll contact you when I'm able to. Right now, my life is too complicated. Of course it is. Because you're treating the supply like a bag of shit now because they want to be with you. And that supply is like, hey, I gave a lot of my resources and you promised this life. And this isn't the life I'm getting. No, they're focusing on an exit plan. And that karmic knows it. So of course they can't talk to you, but they want to. Oh, and they're gonna jump timelines and they're gonna act like, no, it's a misunderstanding, you know. And spirit's like, you are in your old pattern, they're in their old patterns. But they can't see it. And again, if you're getting triggered, you're in yours. And spirit says they shouldn't be able to do that anymore. I can't validate our love in the 3D until I understand our spiritual love in the 5D. Give me time to explore this aspect. Yeah. It's like they don't understand the connection, but it has a hold on them. And, I feel like this person just normally doesn't care. If you don't build an emotional connection, you don't care whether you hurt a person. Right? I mean, it takes time. It's how much you give. It's nurturing. This person doesn't normally give. And they can't figure out how you just kind of flick the switch. Because it was like, you were like, not getting what I want, click. Almost like, oh, you're cold. Or maybe you didn't really love me. Or maybe you really didn't ever care. Where you're like, this person wants to talk to you, but they're not sure they're ready to share everything and give you the answers that you deserve, because you would not stay. Because what they would have to tell you is, I either chose to stay with a karmic or I chose someone else thinking that they had a better life than you. And now I'm not satisfied. So they're not going to do that to you. They're not going to say that because they already know that, this person would come back and they would say that they're sorry. They would tell you some stuff, but they're not going to tell you everything. We already see it. We see who they are. Yeah, this person is like, I'm praying that it'll come back after everything that's happened between us. They already know. They know. But they're seeing messages being exchanged in music and movies. So it's, again, they're like, because you're on their mind and they're worried and they're stuck with this supply, because this supply knows, oh, you want to leave me to go to somebody else. I got your game, because since I've been with you, you haven't given shit. It's like you gave shit to get in here. It was all that way in the beginning. I don't know what happened. It's, again, they're realizing that they got bamboozled. And so, like I said, this person is delusional. I'm seeing messages. You're the one. You're the one, because I see what you're doing. And I see I should be a part of that. And that karmic's like, hell, you will be going anywhere. Because I know as soon as you leave me, you're going to somebody else. I already know. I'm afraid this relationship is too good to be true. And I pull away in fear. That's all that it is. Yeah. But I can't fully be there for you as long as this other person is in my life. I know it's hard for you, but I have to go through this experience. And there you have it. It's like where there are subconscious fears affecting your ability to attract love and abundance, and this person too. We see what their issue is. We need to see what yours is, because yours is not the same as theirs. And so the fear of attracting abundance is, not just relationship, it's money. So you may be breaking karma, because, again, you're on a come up. And so I understand that. So that's why this person's like including each other, where I feel like you don't have a connection to this person. Whatever they came into your life to teach you, you already learned. When Spirit says, and until something takes that place, your mind is just going to go back to that person, not because you really like that person. But it's dangerous because they can overstimulate you, and you can actually think and try to make it work when you already know it's not going to work. Spirit says, so don't jeopardize what you have going on. Because in a way, this person doesn't really care. It's like they're not going to change. They're going to say that they're going to change, but we didn't see them do any work. They're going to go from that person's house to your house. They're looking for the answer outside of themselves. So when you don't perform the way that they want, again, because you're going to come on where they put you on a pedestal. Like, you inspire me. And it's going to go the opposite way. Because, hey, I thought I chose the winning horse and my life isn't winning. And so you already see that there's wounds there that go a lot deeper. Yeah, that, like, it's like Spirit says, use your spiritual insight for this one, because this person, they get into a relationship, and what happens is that they're aloof. They don't really, they act like it's not their problem. They disengage because they're detached, disassociated from the trauma. So Spirit's saying they would, again, happening soon, they would come back. It's not like they won't, but they're going to try. I just feel like you're going to say, oh no, it's the end. I don't want this. But this person says, well, I kind of feel like you might not take me back, but you might take me back. So I have a 50-50 chance, and I have nothing to lose. You have everything to lose. Spirit says, protect yourself. Because this person is not that, like, again, they're a karmic. And they're a karmic because it's like they use people. Now they're not in a good space, and they're seeing what's going on, and you're too quiet, you're too happy, you disconnected. No problem. How is that possible? That's not how I know you. Maybe you didn't like me at all. Maybe you're just like me. Like, where it's like, again, it's like, it's really imbalanced energy. And that's because when a person isn't creating themselves, where you grounded when you're creating yourself, because you have to be present, you have to be in the moment, because you're doing something. Obviously, this person doesn't really have that passion. Then what happens is people become the passion. And when people become the passion, it's lust. And so it's a lot of promises, it's a lot of the illusion, but there's no depth to the relationship. And that's what with this person. It's like, because they don't want to do the actual work. And the actual work is doing inner child work. But obviously, I feel like you have inner child wounds too. That's what it is. This person doesn't do that. They're like, oh, let me see what another supply is. And I'm not saying that they're not attracted to you. Listen, they're not going to be with someone that they're not attracted to. They're not going to be with someone that they think is a loser. Remember, this person has a lack. They're going to try to choose someone that they're like, well, I kind of like your life. You live comfortably. You're independent. You're happy. And sometimes it's just your essence. You're happy. I want that happiness. Because when you're not grounded, it means you're not grounded in anything except for your ego and not the Holy Spirit. You have to be grounded to your body, because spirit is inside your body. This person's a little delusional. And Spirit's saying, and you attracted this person for a lot of different reasons. The inner child wounds was one. The identity, when, again, you grow up in an environment where someone tells you who you are, right? It's, again, so not really knowing who you are. And that could be, again, because it was connected to work, but there's a come up now. So again, you're about to clear this karma, but we want to see, again, why you attracted this person into your life. So again, shows up as confusion, leading to lack of direction or purpose, maybe at one time. And might have meant that you worked a job that you didn't like, or you're working a job that you don't like, and you don't really feel rooted in anything. But that's also, people have identity crises also when they're growing up in an environment where they're being undervalued, bullied by a parent for a lot of reasons. But why I say that is because I feel like, again, you attracted this person before your come up. You poured into yourself. Life has changed. It's like, who you are now. But what Spirit is saying, who you are right now, but you're not trained. Your body is still not on board. Your body is still not on board because, like I shared with my sinuses in the beginning, well, Spirit says you live in hypervigilance and worked for a long time. So that's still there. Your mind's different, but the body isn't. So there's a little bit of detachment. And detachment is just is that's the way that you learned how to deal with the trauma. But now, even though you healed the inner child work, but Spirit says you have to recondition your nervous system. You have to get a better connection to your body. You have to get grounded. You have to get organized. The Spirit's saying is, again, otherwise what's going to be happening is burnout. And what did I say? That first chakra is the adrenals. So what is burnout? I'm stressed. I'm tired. It's a lot of like internal turmoil from overthinking, which you could be someone that's just very vata. Again, in Ayurvedic medicine, that's someone that's like thinks a lot, has a lot of air energy, and they worry. And Spirit's saying, and that triggers your nervous system. And so, in that nervous system, that first chakra is the adrenals. So you're going to see an overproduction of cortisol. You're going to see other issues. The Spirit says it's like you also don't want someone coming into your life and being like that. You know, if you had inner child wounds where you were hypervigilant and because someone made you feel like you needed to be what they wanted you to be, or you lived from what they said that they were. So, you know, it was a lot of different things. And look at this narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse, and what is this? Past life wounds. This one fell out too. So Spirit's saying, yeah, like growing up in an environment with a person that might not be full-blown narcissist, but, you know, has those narcissistic attributes. They're going to say, again, if you don't perform the way that I need you to perform, you make me look bad. You know, remember, narcissistic parents tend to act like children are an extension of themselves. So when someone is telling you who you need to be, and then you begin to try to walk from that level of consciousness, but you're never going to be able to get anything good. You know why? Because it's not real. The universe listens to what's really in your heart. Like, what is in your heart? It doesn't need to be perfect, but what is true? If you copy someone, that's not truth. If you, again, are out of alignment because someone makes you feel that way, that's not truth. It's, again, that we're always being challenged to live our truth. And when you grow up with a narcissist, you wind up paying attention more to that narcissist's mood. You know, because they'll emotionally stress you out to the point that you have burnout and cortisol, extra cortisol production. So Spirit's saying, oh, you might attract that. You attracted that type of energy. You do realize that person is that. You're seeing spiritual disease right up close and personal, because that's what it is, because God doesn't make a person like that. They get like that due to trauma and not healing. It's called spiritual warfare. And if you want to know why the world looks the way that it does right now, it's because of that. It's spiritual warfare. It's the way that negative spirits, unclean spirits, affect us. We're spiritual beings. Yes, you can heal the cognitive therapy, but if you don't fill yourself up with the Holy Spirit, guess what? Spirit comes back to an empty house. And, you know, it brings all its family members. It brings its cousins, and they're a lot stronger unclean spirits. So, you know, that's when you see a person, I don't know, I've seen them do the healing, but it's like they're still the same. They keep falling off the wagon. They keep whatever. And the reason why is because they did not fill themselves up. You have to have something to hold on to. Anxiety and fear, which again, that root chakra that I was telling you about that triggers the nervous system into hypervigilance, your adrenal glands, again, and that, when you stay in this for long periods of time, you're kind of stuck in stupid. And here it is, you're on a come up. This person would be able to control you like that, Spirit says, because you need to get grounded. You need to get organized. You need to get strong within yourself. So it doesn't mean that you didn't heal your mind, But Spirit's saying you have to heal that part. Your body is your mind's faithful servant. And if you don't heal it, so they're coming back. And Spirit says again, you better prepare. Overstimulation is not the same thing as love. You know, and again, if you grew up with a narcissist that kind of came in with that energy, it's like automatic. I just don't want to feel that energy. I'll do whatever you want. That's a lot of times because children are fearful of that narcissistic energy. It's like, I don't want to deal with it. There's big consequences for it. And then Spirit says, now you're going to attract someone that's going to do the same fucking thing because you didn't learn that lesson. Oh, you're not in the house anymore with mommy or daddy, but so God says you didn't learn that lesson because that's not me. And you're me. I live inside of you as a gift of the Spirit. You can create your life however you want. I'm omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscience, what God says. I'm everywhere all the time. I'm ubiquitous, including inside of you. I work through you. I give you life. Breath is spirit. That's what that word means. Breath is spirit. It's like gives you life. And so again, and what we see is this person makes you physically sick. And how did I start? With my sinuses. Sign of adrenals. I know. So Spirit says, what are your inner child wounds? We already know, but let's see more. Can we go deeper? Guidance. Well, it made you very psychic. I feel like, you know, I mean, growing up with eyes in the back of your head would, but not having guidance and only having to rely on yourself, growing up way too fast. Because narcissists wants you to do what they want you to do. They don't want you to do what you need to do. Didn't I say you were very psychic? Source, connection to God. Because when a child grows up in survival and their adrenals are like shot and they're so afraid that they can't think, God says, I was with you. They're like, well, why did you let me experience that? And Spirit says, we pulled that. It was a past life wound. I don't know where it is, but, you know, I know you got it. Spirit says you incarnated with this wound. Well, what the hell did I do in a past life? Spirit says everyone has to live every single experience. That's why we live many lifetimes. And you might say, why do I have to get stabbed? God says, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge. So you need to experience pain and suffer. I wanted to protect you. You listen to the serpent. Now there's consequences. You're living in that consequence. It's like, but you can heal. You know, it's like you can do something different, but that's why. It's like the Spirit says you have to nurture yourself. There was no nurturing. There was no emotional support. There was no, you didn't feel safe as a child. And obviously, if you were in fear and stressed out because you never knew what you were going to get from that narcissist, well, we understand. Again, so there was no discipline. So again, when a person lives in survival mode, they're not thinking about creating themselves. They're not disciplined. They're thinking about survival. They're thinking about, how am I going to get that drink of water? Because I'm really thirsty, but I got to go past that person. How am I going to use the bathroom without getting screamed at? That's how a child thinks when they grow up in an environment with the narcissist. Because if the narcissist comes home in a bad mood, well, it's your fault. If the house isn't clean and you didn't do, it's your fault. It's your fault for not knowing how to read their mind and not utilizing all your energy to pacify, to emotionally pacify that parent, because your survival is based on it. And is your survival, that's the perception for a little kid. And if emotionally you're not getting, that's exactly what it is. You're being taught that love is transactional. Neglect. And that's what Spirit's saying. And that's why you attracted this person. Abandonment. Because again, there was nothing on an emotional level. There was nothing. You were the parent. You were the one. And it didn't mean that parent didn't sign you up for school and do, because they can emulate what other parents do. And God forbid, they don't want to look different from the other parents, narcissists. Oh no, I got to look like my life is actually better, which again puts a lot of pressure on a child, where they don't feel comfortable to have their unique unfoldment process, because hey, their life is dependent on it. And so you also say, well, now we have to transmute the negative energy, because you chose not to have this person in your life. Spirit says, but you got to train that nervous system. But what are you going to do with the energy is what Spirit says. You can't just get rid of it. You have to transform it. You have to, that's the alchemy process. This connection should have made you mad. There should be a lot of fire. You should be really pissed off. Actually, it showed that you had anger and resentment. So Spirit says, yeah, that energy needs to be cleared. Just because that person's out of your life doesn't mean anything. What are you going to do with the energy? Because you can say, I forgot about it, and time went on. And Spirit says, yeah, but then you attract someone else that activates that energy, because you didn't learn the lesson. So you're not getting it. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So until you learn the lesson, you get it again and again and again. And even when you learn it, you get it. The only difference is it doesn't affect you. You didn't even notice that you went through it. You were like, because you've changed, you've evolved. And that's the whole point, to be able to see yourself differently, to be able to see life differently, which is Spirit said, that's why you're getting a person like this. It's again, because that parent made you feel like, again, terrified, suppressed, didn't lived in survival. So what person doesn't have memories of childhood? They don't have, there's fragmentation there. Spirit saying, it's like, yeah, so know first and foremost that you are strong. Acknowledge what you have already overcome, that you are strong because you survived spiritual warfare. It's again, because that's what it is when you grow up with a narcissist as a parent, that you're strong, that you're smart, that you're equipped. You're very psychic because of it, and Spirit is always near you because of it. We already said that. God says, well, sometimes I bring my people. And so it was all to help turn the fears into strength so that you would see that. Spirit says for transformation, to let go of who you were and to realize who you are. It's time to release the past, God says, because I didn't make that version of you. I don't know. That must be the Timu version of you. Not even. Sometimes Timo's a hit or miss. That's just a miss. And the Spirit says, but it happened so that to make you aware. So you needed to transform it. And elevation, it's the same thing, which is, freeing yourself from fear, to trust in the universe, to direct your thoughts to the beauty inside and around you, and that you use your spiritual strength and knowledge to create light and rise above all doubt within yourself and all doubt within other people, because it's not about trusting other people. It's about trusting yourself to have the discernment to deal with people the way that you need to deal with them. And Spirit says, I taught you that in childhood because you grew up in that environment. So you know the game. Just in childhood, you learned it, but you couldn't really fully play it because you're like, well, I know what I could want to do, but this person might kill me, or there's consequences. So I'm not really going to play the game. And Spirit says, that's the issue. It's again, because even though I'm going to do it because I don't want to deal with it, Spirit says, again, recondition the nervous system, recondition it. Because when someone comes in and they emotionally overstimulate you and you're already hypervigilant, then reaction, because you've created neurological pathways. Because, hey, you lived in an environment where I got love when I did. I got love when I obeyed. I got love when I gave in. I got love. I didn't resist. It's like, so it's automatic for you. And Spirit's saying, it's like, it can't be. That's not the leader. You're a leader. And sometimes that means no, you're on a come up. Sometimes it's like, no. And the spirit says is that you have to get yourself strong, and then you can deal with those people a little bit closer, because it doesn't matter what they do, because you have discernment and you're in charge of how people are going to perceive you. A person may try and discolor the way that you are. Again, say that you're one thing when you're not, but people will always see the truth. People will always feel the truth. So God says, just be true to you. This is about ascending life, letting go of that. And, not everyone's going to like it. But guess what? They should have been nicer. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with it. And I might be on later, with my sinuses. I'm not going outside of the house for the full month of January and February, because that is ragweed season here in Florida. And when my sinuses get bad, it goes right into asthmatic bronchitis, which is then because I have an overactive immune system from growing up being hypervigilant. So I resonated with this reading more than you can know. It's just, I don't tolerate people coming into my life. I didn't resonate with the relationship part, though, because I don't put up with that. But as far as growing up in that type of environment, yes. Again, in that hypervigilance, and how you really need to recondition that, because it wears away. It wears away at your adrenals, cortisol, then your body doesn't digest, it doesn't rest. And we need to rest and rejuvenate, and those type of relationships don't allow you to do it. Toxic people don't allow you to do it. Narcissistic people don't allow you to do it. All right, I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Be true to you. Remember,